Welcome to a special episode of Becoming Boss C. It is celebration time because I am officially a certified internal auditor. So I can finally say goodbye to all of my test banks, study materials, notes, and video lectures. Here is what the official CIA certificate looks like. If you are a subscriber, then you probably already know that I am a certified public accountant who entered the internal audit profession in 2020. And when I became an internal auditor, I decided that I wanted to take advantage of my company's generous education tuition assistance program. And so I knew that my company would reimburse me for passing the CIA exam. And I have the mentality that I want to maximize employer-provided benefits whenever I switch jobs. So I did just that. I first ordered my study materials in September 2020 and passed part 1 of the exam in January 2021. Then I began studying for part 2 in February 2021 and passed that exam in September of 2021. So, as you can see, I really took my time from family life to work life to other personal goals and managing my YouTube channel. I have done a ton of juggling and balancing, so I figured that it would take a while to obtain the CIA designation. Now, I feel super comfortable and confident when I took parts 1 and 2 of the exam. Even though I only had a few months of professional experience in internal auditing, I was a fast learner on the job, and I realized that my organization followed the Institution of Internal Auditing professional standards and framework very well. So I think that had a lot to do with my success when I passed both of those parts on the first attempt. Going into part 3, I was immediately terrified of the information technology, or IT, and information security domains. I am not an IT auditor, and I do not interact much with IT auditors at work, other than the occasional status meetings. My one saving grace, or silver lining, was that I am a CPA, so I felt prepared for the financial management domain, and the business acumen domain seemed simple enough since I took business administration courses in college. But again, the IT and information security domains just account for 45% of the exam, which is huge as of 2022. And so I knew that part 3 would be a challenge because those information technology and information security domains are just not my expertise. I studied for the exam using the Wiley Certified Internal Auditor Exam Review course, which came with a study book that was over 990 pages long, video lectures that reviewed each syllabus topic, and notes that were condensed into a smaller version of the study book, and a test bank with 4,554 multiple choice questions. Yep, you heard that right. The Wiley test bank had over 4,500 questions for part 3. I will make a separate video about how many questions I actually answered and my statistics on how many I got right and all of that. I started studying for the part 3 seriously around November 2021, but then I took a break around Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays, and then I started back studying in January of 2022, and I took the exam for the first time and passed in August 2022. So why did it take me so long to study for part 3? Well, remember, I work full-time as an internal auditor. I am actively working on my YouTube channel in hopes of finally getting 1,000 subscribers, hint, hint. I was still being a great daughter, sister, aunt, friend, and community volunteer. I was wearing so many hats and playing so many roles like most of us do. So studying was not always a first priority for me. I was fine with my progress for part 3, and I knew that it would take a bit longer due to my unfamiliarity with IT and information security. I also was fortunate because I had a cushion of time because I passed parts 1 and 2 both within a year. So I knew I had about 2 years to pass part 3. I was not truly in a rush, but I also knew that I did not want to take more than 2 years to become a certified internal auditor. If there were any promotion opportunities at my job, I wanted to have my CIA designation there in black and white secured to help my advances and chances of being promoted. Plus, I knew that exam fees were going to increase in September 2022, so that motivated me as well. Okay, so around April 2022, I finished my 990-page long study book and watched all of the related video lectures. Then I started working on the test bank, answering questions. I noticed that I was still answering many questions incorrectly, which was very frustrating since I had been studying for part 3 for so many months at that time. One random day in April 2022, I received an email from the IIA stating that it would host a CIA Part 3 exam webinar. Remember, I was uncertain about my level of preparedness for taking Part 3, so I quickly registered for the free webinar. During the webinar, the IIA had a raffle contest for a free live course for any section of the CIA exam. All that you had to do was attend the webinar and stay online through the entire session. Well, I was ecstatic nonetheless. I mean, you can imagine, I was so excited when the IIA announced that I had won the free live course. It was exactly what I needed to help me pass part 3. Remember, at this point, it was April 2022, and I had a goal to pass part 3 by Memorial Day 2022, which was at the end of May. Well, there was one slight issue. The IIA only offered the live training during my workday in May, so I could not take the live course in May. However, they offered live course options for June right after work from 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time through 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a total of 6 sessions, 3 hours each. That's right, it was an 18-hour-long course. So I signed up to take the live courses in June. And looking back, I'm so proud of myself for investing so much time, energy, and effort into getting my CIA designation. Working 8 to 9 hours as an internal auditor and then taking another 3 hours to study for those days was not fun in June, but I did it regardless because I had a goal in mind. I also have a video about my live IIA webinar course experience, so you should definitely check it out after this video. While we are at it, go ahead and like this video if you made it this far, and comment below congratulations. I would love to read all of your congratulatory messages, and consider subscribing if you want to watch more videos or simply support the channel. Back to the story. I took the IIA's webinar course in June, and they also gave me another study book that was about 360 pages long. Guess what? I wanted to ensure that I was fully ready for the exam, so I read that entire book from the IIA within the month of July. After attending the live course sessions, reading that entire IIA Part 3 study book, and still answering test bank questions in between, I finally felt comfortable scheduling my exam. So I logged into CCMS, which is the Certification Candidate Management System that the IA sponsors. And CCMS is a user-friendly application that helps you to apply for the CIA designation, complete, and also maintain your designation. So of course, I start the scheduling process by searching for a Saturday in July. So I look at July 16th. Is there any availability? Nope, no availability. July 23rd, no availability. July 30th, no availability. Wonderful. This is going off to a great start. So my second option is that people usually cancel or reschedule their exam appointments a few days before the appointment date, right? You know, if they get nervous or if they feel like they're not prepared yet, they just cancel or reschedule. Well, I figured that I would just wait until Wednesday or so to see if there was any last minute appointment that had an opening that someone canceled, but nope, that didn't work either. So it was time to be Boss C and just scheduled my exam for August. So on July 27th, I scheduled my exam for the first week of August, and there was only an early afternoon availability. So I took parts 1 and 2, both in the morning at 8 a.m. because I feel most alert and focused in the morning, but my appointment was at 1 p.m. So it was not too late, but it wasn't as early as I desired it to be. To make sure I was adequately prepared and just mentally ready for a 2-hour-long exam, I took a practice exam with Wiley on the very next day, July 28th. And I want to make sure that I was, in a good spot for taking my actual exam. Well, I took the practice exam by answering those 100 multiple choice questions, all within an hour and 40 minutes. Remember, you have 2 hours to take the exam, but I finished the practice exam in an hour and 40 minutes, and I received a score of 77%. To pass the CIA exam parts, you have to score at least 600 out of a potential 750 points, which is about an 80%. So while this may have scared other CIA candidates, that 77% may have made some candidates feel like, maybe I'm not ready. I personally recall that I scored less than 80% for parts 1 and 2 as well. So sometimes the practice exam is not always an accurate reflection of your level of preparedness for the exam. Specifically, I remember scoring about a 70% for part 2. In other words, I developed a review process, and fortunately, my work assignments at my job were not as intense and did not keep me busy during that week. I had also decided to take 2 days off for vacation time so that I could study all day for one day and then take my exam the following day. I may even create a video on how to review for the CIA exam, how many questions to answer, what sections you need to review, etc. At a high level, I definitely recommend that you read the exam syllabus in its entirety and in detail, and literally put check marks next to the subjects that you feel proficient in, and then focus on the parts where you are not so confident. So the day before my exam, I was not feeling well. I was not feeling my best at all. I was doing what I would tell anyone else not to do. I was literally cramming for the test. At this point, my body felt stressed and tired, but my mind was in overdrive and I was determined to leave no stone unturned, or I guess the better phrase is no page unturned. So it was now the morning of the exam day, and I made sure to get into bed early the night before and to not set an alarm to wake up, because I really wanted to get at least 8 hours of sleep before the exam. And I did just that. So hours pass and I look up some topics at the last minute. I organized my keys, my car keys, my ID, and I grabbed my bottle of water. A weird feeling of calmness came over me as I weaved in and out of traffic and even had a car cut in front of me at one point. So still, regardless of all the traffic that was distracting me, I remained composed, and I finally arrived at the test center 20 minutes early. So since it was a weekday, the testing center did not have many other test takers waiting at the front desk. So instead of starting my exam at 1 p.m., I actually started around 12:45 p.m. My mask is on, pockets are emptied, belongings are locked. I walked to my computer station and began my exam. Before I knew it, I was flying through multiple choice questions, and I occasionally saw some questions that were just foreign to me that I had just had to make an educated guess on. So with 5 minutes and about 20 seconds left, I finished answering the 100th question. Along the way, I flagged about 18 multiple choice questions, so I went to the review page and revisited those questions. For some reason, whether it was mental fatigue or exhaustion, I stopped reviewing flagged questions, and I did not make any more changes to my answers. Now, with a little over 2 minutes left on the clock, I clicked the End Exam button, and a warning message appeared asking me, "Are you sure you want to leave the review page?" Without hesitation, I'm telling you, I ended that exam. The screen went black for 1 second, 3 seconds, 20 seconds. I took my headphones off and I swiveled my chair around and attempted to stand up, but the proctor held up her hand and told me to remain seated. I forgot that I had to raise my hand before standing up. The proctor entered the testing room and escorted me out of the room with her. After returning my headphones, my calculator, and notepad, I retained my locker key and driver's license and walked to the front desk, half scared and really half curious about what my testing results were. So I asked the woman at the front desk, "Can I please have my testing results?" She explained that my results were not ready yet and handed me this little strip of paper, and I'll put it in here. What does this mean? I had always gotten a quick score report that said passed. So why aren't my results ready yet? Did that mean that I failed? I accepted the pathetic strip of paper, opened my assigned locker, and retrieved my keys and other belongings. My heart was racing as I stepped onto the elevator with another test taker, who had his score report in his hand and seemed pretty content. Finally, in my car, I go to CCMS and check my exam status, which states scheduled. The same status from before I took the exam, scheduled. This is uncharted territory for me. This has never happened to me. Even after taking all 4 parts of the CPA exam, I always received a score report. Even when I took the first 2 parts of the CIA exam, I always received a score report. I attempt to calm down and go on about my day, but that does not last for long, let me tell you. I had to call someone and vent because I just couldn't contain it. But I did not tell my parents, loved ones, or friends that I was even taking the exam. It is such a catch-22. I called a close relative and let out my frustration with that person, not yet having a clear result, and prepared my mind for a potential test failure. Before falling asleep, I checked CCMS again, and the status is now shown as taken, so it switched from scheduled to taken. The night drew near and I slumbered with uncertainty. The next morning, I started my routine as normal, but I felt this urge to check CCMS again for my score results, like maybe something happened overnight or in the morning. So I logged onto CCMS with my personalized credentials, scrolled down, and I saw this. Wait, am I dreaming? What does this mean? I stared at it longer, and relief enters my body, and I immediately start calling and texting everyone and anyone who supported me in this journey. It was over. My life is back. I am done with the CIA exams, and I look over to my kitchen table, which still was holding my study books and notes. No more studying was necessary. I am a certified internal auditor. I hope that you all enjoyed listening to my personal story of finally becoming a certified internal auditor. If you made it this far, I am impressed. Like this video and subscribe for more videos. Comment below and let me know how you would react if you were in my situation. Thank you for riding along with me on this crazy journey to the CIA designation. Thank you for supporting Becoming Boss C. And as of the date of this recording, the channel has 934 subscribers. We are on a journey to 1,000 subscribers. We are so close, and you can help by continuing this journey with me. So please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Of course, I'd like to thank my family, friends, professional colleagues, and the creators of my study materials for supporting me and helping me get through this 23-month-long journey. To whom much is given, much is required. I hope to make more informative videos about the Certified Internal Auditor exam so that others can experience this feeling and sense of enjoyment and fulfillment that I feel right now. As always, stay blessed and stay bossy. Now, check out this video for more tips on passing the CA exam.